One representative from each of the 8 finalists, please come up on stage. Yeah, we've got plaques. Peter?
So we will go through in the order as the finalists made their presentations today, which happens to be alphabetical order, starting with inner eye. And while Ambassador Shapiro was able to give a very nice synopsis of each of the examples, I will also mention very briefly for those of you who may not have been present for the early morning session where we talked through. So the first company today, Inner Eye, has developed a system that combines human visual perception with the measurement of brain waves in a very novel approach. And I think what impressed us most as a judging panel is the fact that they were able to reach into the biomedical technology industry and pick out a very well-established technology and apply that in a very brand new way. So for the representative from Inner Eye, we have a plaque for each of the participants, finalists today. The next of the finalists is InSounds, which they've developed a system that allows them to capture and isolate any type of sound in a very noisy background. And I think that point is underscored by remarks that the ambassador made about our continuing effort to go after terrorists wherever they may be. And you can envision the difficult investigative challenge or intelligence challenge of determining what terrorists are saying if they're in a crowded cafe or some other setting. So this can be a very useful technology for that type of approach. And that's really what impressed us most as a judging panel. So for the representative from InSounds. The next presentation was from Microspark, and they've developed a truly novel way of looking at explosive trace materials to determine, in a very simple way, is there a threat present or not? And I think that's what impressed us most as a judging panel, giving something that ultimately could be a green light, red light, yes, no, we need to take a closer look at this material. So the representative from Microspark. Following that was the presentation from Musketeer, which is a peer-to-peer, real-time social network that allows people who are involved in some sort of an incident to reach out to those who are most close by, who could provide assistance or other types of response activities. And I'm afraid to say that the events of this morning with the attack on the bus really underscore the importance of having this type of peer-to-peer social network that will allow those who are willing to assist to work most closely with those nearby who are in distress. So the representative from Musketeer. On to Quartet. Quartet's a company that's developed a system that allows you to convert digital images that might be taken overhead from UAVs or other imaging platforms and combine those to create a 3D map that then identifies features within that map and allows you to do change detection over time. So if you want to compare how the images from last week looked with images that you've collected this day. And what we found most impressive there is that it's really an automated process that greatly simplifies what in the past had been a laborious, hand-done, person-done job. So for that innovation, we'd like to also just thank them with this plaque. Stabilitas has developed a capability that secures travelers around the world with information about up-to-the-minute risks and other activities that are going on in their place. And I think anyone who's done any type of international travel realizes that whether you're there with on behalf of your business or you just like to reach back to your family, they would want to know that you're in a safe situation, or if the situation becomes dire, that you have a way of reaching out. And so Stabilitas has developed a very novel way of approaching that. A Third Eye is a company that's come up with a fusion of of two different types of sensors that allow you to automatically determine whether there is a human present. And one of the most direct applications is what they call close quarter combat, which either could be in an urban environment or people who are operating in the jungle or other dense vegetation. You really want to know if there's a threat out there. And their sensor package is a very clever way of using low-cost and affordable sensors, fusing them together, and then developing the computer algorithm that allows you to understand what threat you're facing and approximately where that might be. So for them, we also have a plaque. And the final presentation was one that was dear to my heart. I'm a microbiologist by training, although I've been working in foreign affairs now for over a dozen years at the State Department. And VBACT is a company that developed a very novel approach to determining whether bacteria are present in the water handling systems that are delivering safe drinking water to your house day in and day out. I was quite impressed with how they've approached that, and it takes care of not only some of the common bacterial threats, but even yeast and cryptosporidia, other types of pathogens that often cause the greatest problems for water handling systems. So for the representative from VBACT.
Before I do that,
Now, before we give Ambassador Shapiro the honor of recognizing the winner of the Technology Startup Challenge, we would like to recognize the runner-up in this event, and that happens to be the company Inner Eye.
okay. Well, I'm going to say the envelope, please, even though I already have it, because it's not very often you get to pretend like you're at the Oscars. So, the winner of the first ever Counterterrorism Technology Startup Challenge Award, going home with $100,000 today, I'm very proud to announce, is the company In Sounds.
Did a good job.
Congratulations.
All right, everybody, you're in the glide path now. We're almost done. Two more speakers. Myself, who will be very brief, and General Yakin. General Yakin is representing Mafat, and I'd like to give him an opportunity as our dear long friend to say a couple of words to the audience and talk about what great partners we are, and then I'll jump back up here. Nobody's laughing at the jokes.
Ambassador Shapiro, friends, guests, good afternoon. This is a time to be very, very brief. So one personal note and one great thank you. On a personal note, 24 years ago, I was the head of the Land System Division in Mafat. On the days we start thinking and pushing forward the agreement that later became the TISRIG mechanism. 2 years later, I was the R&D attaché in Washington, and I was present at the signature ceremony of this agreement. No, I promise you, nobody at that moment even imagined how successful this cooperation is going to be and how many achievements will earn out of it. So it's really, it makes me happy to be here. It makes me happy to see Adam and the rest of the guys that represent the third generation of TISRIG. First generation was John and Mike and some others. And I think it's very appropriate to remind the names. They did a great job for us. And thank you. On behalf of Mafat, I really want to thank you all for contributing your time and efforts to this contest. And I want to thank our American friends. Well, I'm not going to thank our Israeli partners and friends, because in Israel, you don't thank people. We expect you to do what you're supposed to do. So don't expect me. But to our American friends, really. And you have to understand that the TISRIG mechanism is not just partnership. It's much more than that. It's a lot of friendship. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador Shapiro. I mean, your presence, the time, and the words that you said really give us the space to operate. It shows us the importance of this relationship. And without that kind of high-level support, we really would struggle to accomplish anything. So it makes a big difference to us, and I appreciate your time, sir. Thank you again to the many judges that reviewed both rounds of submissions. You've given your time and your mentorship in a lot of ways to these companies to help them further their innovative paths. So I thank you, and thank you to Gideon and to Ella and MIT Enterprise Forum, and to Shana for the execution of this tremendous event. You know the work that goes into it, many of you, by this time in your careers, and they were extraordinary. So thank you all very much. Finally, I appreciate you suffering through a conference in English for my benefit. So I want to thank you, and hope you'll engage in some creative listening for me. Lechaverai be'Israel, hen b'tasea v'hen b'mamshala, toda rabah. ההמצאות שנוצרו פה הופכות את הכלים האמריקאים ואת המפעלים ליותר בטוחים ויותר אפקטיביים. לצערי, אתם מתמודדים עם איום הטרור בכל יום. כחברים, אנחנו ברי מצל שאנחנו יכולים לתמוך במאמצים שלכם להביס את הטרור ולהרוויח מהטכנולוגיות העצומות שאתם מפתחים כדי לעשות זאת. That's it. תודה רבה. Gideon?
Firstly, Adam, I have a little complaint. You told us that there was no cyber technology today, and here you talk code for... Okay. Well, thank you all for, I think it was a wonderful day. Some tremendous companies that we've seen and technologies and insights that we've gotten on the field. Although we're in Israel, and although I just learned that you're not supposed to give thanks in Israel, I'd already prepared a list. So let me quickly just thank all of the people who were involved in making this happen. The folks in the MIT Enterprise Forum team, Eleanor Hardy, Omri Katz, Gil Shurka, Mary Oreni Rezon, Shira Simonovich, Michal Levran, who coordinated the whole event, Ella Matalon, the executive director of the forum. I must say special thanks to Shana Yacobi and Adam Tarsi, who were tremendous to work with and really a lot of fun. and it was amazing how cool and collected and never nervous about anything. I'd like to also thank two of the Mafat guys who work closely with us, Ron Gershon and Amit Katz, who were very supportive through this effort. One further thank you, our program consultant, I would call him, Aaron Levran, somewhere here, who pretty much got many compliments as to the speakers our speaker list. And basically, anybody who wants to know where these ideas came from, he's sitting over there. So thank you all again, and I guess now we're moving out for some refreshments. Thank you, Ella. Right, now we have the real prize. Ambassador Shapiro only gave the startup $100,000. We're giving somebody a year's membership to the MIT Forum. Actually, two. Earlier we had an audience vote for the startup panels, and I really don't want to get this wrong. Can you? In sounds and VBAC? Okay, sorry. The winners are NI and VBAC. Amazingly, we had a tie. Out of all of these people, we have a tie, so we've got 2 year membership and free access to all of the events and the consulting programs of the MIT Forum. And one lucky audience winner who guessed correctly who the winners will be is Uri Basson of Geosense. Uri, you here? Uri? I must say everybody was warned that whoever... Yep. So Uri lost out. Gideon Hack. Great first name. Okay. Gideon, you don't have to come. You don't have to come down. You get a free dinner with Ed Malofsky, the chairman of the MIT Enterprise Forum and founder of Gemini VC and founder of the BIRD program and many other accomplishments. Okay, well, thank you all, and let's move upstairs for some refreshments.